we should be equally yoked in terms of like our mindset. So say for instance, me right now, I'm 32. If I was to date a woman that's 20 years old, I could literally puppet string her and manipulate her to do whatever it is that I want to do. She would have no chance with me. I would literally like dominate her in terms of what I wanted her to do, how I wanted her to react. Okay, I would like for her to be emotional, so I'm gonna do this. Or I would like for her to be such and such, so I'm gonna do that. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like that creates an unfair kind of balance, in my opinion. So, which is why I said, and tell right, my daughter bring home a nigga that's 40 years old or 30 some years old, he getting hands put on.
But then that's the
I
reason
will
why
not
most
approve of that.
men, most older
That's
men
just a fact.
date
Okay, what's the context behind hitting the wall? What y'all mean by that?
fertility, not being able to reproduce,
Mm.
waiting too late.
Looks
They
decline.
find sexual value, your sexual market doesn't matter.
Your
That
looks
has nothing to do with
deteriorating.
Desirability.
it does.
That was part of the definition.
was.
I just said when I brought that up about her dating somebody and then she's in the marketplace at 50, y'all shut me down.
Well, we also said she should date the same people in her market. So,
but those guys don't want those women; they want younger.
Well, it is true they do want younger, but there are women I've witnessed that are older. They have had children. They're empty nesters, and they get together later in life. I've been seeing a lot of marriages happening around me where it's people in their 40s and their 50s right now. So
especially if they're a desirable woman.
Yeah. So I mean, I think it still can happen. You're right that men prefer a younger woman, but it still can happen.
Somebody said you're still young to a 7-year-old. Who said that?
That's right. It's you a 7-year-old.
No.
Who was somebody 70?
Did you have anything to add? Because we're about to go to the guys. Do you want to add anything, Trill? Because I'm pretty sure you've heard about the wall.
Yeah, as far as like a woman's like market value or whatever.
Absolutely.
So I mean, the question is like, do I think it's a real thing, or do I think it's relevant, or is it a negative connotation behind it?
Yeah,
absolutely, sure.
Okay. Yeah, definitely. To be honest, man, and which is why I try to advise a bunch of our younger listeners to avoid a lot of the mistakes we made, because you end up wasting valuable years, and not only years but sanity, dealing with the wrong dudes early. Like it's plenty of like great women that I know who was under terrible leadership early in their life, and now they suffering the consequences of it. Illegitimate kids, unsettled trauma. So now the new dude that's signing up for this, he got to kind of sort through all of that. You know what I'm saying? Don't get me wrong, she's still a good woman, but just bad decision making early in her life because she felt like, well, shit, I got time. I can get around to it. Let me go out here and get my degree. Let me go out here and make my money. Let me go out here and do whatever. And then I just worry about a man on the back end. And don't get me wrong, like some for some women that works out, but for the most part, like you'll burn up valuable years of your life. As much as we hate to admit it, a woman's prime legitimately is when they're younger, because men value looks over everything else. That's just a fact. While a lot of women try to give off they other traits, and maybe a job or education level or whatever the case may be, and all of that shit may be important to y'all, but for most men, it's looks. You know what I'm saying? So the older y'all get, the more that decreases. Not saying y'all fall off a cliff. Well, some women do fall off a cliff, but not saying all women just fall off a cliff like looks wise, but it does diminish. But for men, it's the opposite way around, right? When we getting older, we making more money, and money is financial security is the number one most desired trait in a man. That's just honest.
Let me ask you this. This is another question that we had spoke about. So I want your take on this as well. Mm-hmm. So we were talking about, I think Mr. Logic has said that women in their 20s should definitely date men that are much older if they're looking for provision, because they're already at the top of their game when they hit 40. So if you're in your 20s, 25, you should be dating 40. And what I said is that I think, two 20-year-olds, 20, 23 or 24, that you can get together and build, together. And he said most men at that age don't have a dream. I kind of want your input, because you met your wife and y'all got married in your 20s. So do you think that that would be advice that you would give to your daughter to marry somebody that's in their 40s because they already have provision.
You must have forgot Trill already spoke on that when he joined the show to our
No,
first
he
live.
didn't.
And Trill said he is not advising his daughter.
Well, okay, well, let me rephrase that. Not in your 40s.
Well, let me correct you though. I
Okay,
said
go ahead.
most men in their 20s have dreams, not plans. That's what I said.
Right.
That's a
And I
fact.
said a good woman would help him solidify those dreams and turn it into a plan and support him as he's doing that. And you said no.
Yeah, man. I think it all depends on like what she has the tolerance level for. Because to be honest, logic right. When you're 20, 23, 24, you don't have a plan. You got shit that you would like to do, that you aspire to do, but it's not no real. Okay, yeah, I'm XYZ. This is how this is gonna go. Jump on my ship, baby. I'm gonna carry us there. A lot of times you trying to figure that shit out on the fly, and that can create a bumpy ride. Right? Let's just be honest here. And a lot of men don't make it. You know what I'm saying? Because of that, because that ride is so bumpy. He out here, still getting pulled by the streets. He's still getting pulled by, maintaining his reputation that he had before he got into the relationship. So all of that shit is a distraction when you're younger. But when you get a bit older, that rudimentary shit stops mattering as much. You know what I'm saying? You start thinking about long-term legacy, different shit like that. But where I disagree at with that big age gap is because, like I say all the time, I feel like we should be equally yoked in terms of like our mindset. So say for instance, me right now, I'm 32. If I was to date a woman that's 20 years old, I could literally puppet string her and manipulate her to do whatever it is that I want to do. She would have no chance with me. I would literally like dominate her in terms of what I wanted her to do, how I wanted her to react. Okay, I would like for her to be emotional, so I'm gonna do this. Or I would like for her to be such and such, so I'm gonna do that. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like that creates an unfair kind of balance, in my opinion. So, which is why I said until right, my daughter bring home a nigga that's 40 years old or 30 some years old, he getting hands put on. I will not approve of that.
Older
It's
men
just a fact.
date younger women because they are easy to manipulate.
Exactly. You know
Some
what I'm
of
saying?
them, this new generation is on
Now,
another.
I will be honest. I think that's the main reason. I know the men are trying to say it's a fertility thing, but I really don't think it has, not to say it doesn't have anything to do with fertility, but I think the main part of why they want to date younger is for the very reason that Trill said. It's
Yeah,
easier to manipulate.
Yeah, like most of these men in this space will literally say it. Like, I want to mold my woman into who I want her to be.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So like they're literally trying to finish raising a grown woman and like mold her into who I want her to be. Me, I don't necessarily have the patience for that. I don't really believe in that line of thinking. I'm more so like I vet it. You know what I'm saying? I believe in vetting somebody well enough to where you don't have to mold them. They can come in and y'all already are compatible, right? But again, it's a rocky road. So again, it just depends on what her tolerance level is. Does she want shit to be? Because some women are good with that. They don't mind being manipulated and whatever, as long as the man's plan is solid and he has goals and he has money and all that shit. She'll willingly just jump on the ship. Okay, this is less I got to do.